What's up everyone, it is LeakyTapsMan here, and it is wishlist time once again, and we are going to go for the last next gen console, and that is the big PlayStation 4. Now, I was a little late to the party getting a PlayStation 3, but it's really impressed me, and Sony, after a slow start with the PS3, kind of picked up the pace, and what we have now is a very good console that can be improved on, admittedly, but they seem to learn from their mistakes quite a lot. But these are the features and changes that I would like in a PlayStation 4 console. I'd say the main couple is to steal a few ideas off the 360 and incorporate cross-game chat for up to 8 people, so party chat across any game, regardless of what anyone's playing. Also, the ability to play custom soundtracks on any game that we're playing. Two features that the Xbox 360 had, and it gave not a massive advantage over the PS3, but it's a very good feature nonetheless, cross-game chat especially. I'd say in terms of technical specifications, I'm no tech whiz, but they need to make sure that the RAM allocation is sufficient. Basically, the RAM on the PS3 was allocated poorly, or they didn't have enough VRAM or something, I can't really remember, but basically developers complained about it, and that's the reason why we have no cross-game chat and why the dashboard hasn't really been updated a great deal because of RAM allocation. I'd just say leave yourself with a lot of room to maneuver, Sony, so that in the future you can make wholesale changes like the Xbox has done. I don't want to keep plugging the fact that the Xbox did certain things right because it did a lot of things wrong itself, but these three aspects that I've mentioned were the things that they did right, and Sony would be wise to copy them. And staying very much on the technical side of things, I think that shorter loading times are an absolute must, because some of the loading times on PS3 games were atrocious. I don't know if it was down to Blu-ray or the fact that you couldn't install games fully on the hard drive, but they really need to rectify it in the next console, because just spending all of your gaming time in a loading screen is not that fun. For the hard drive, I'd just say 1TB should be the pro gaming choice, in quotations, and 500GB maybe is the standard core experience. At least Sony went down the right route with the PlayStation 3 and made hard drives as standard, so just make them slightly bigger, considering how cheap memory is now. On the more gaming side of things, getting away from the technical specs, I'd say for Sony, keep on making new IPs, intellectual properties. So the PlayStation 3 did this quite well, where we got a load of new franchises like Uncharted and Little Big Planet and Infamous, some really great games that started this generation, so I'd love to see that with the PlayStation 4, and not just Sony getting their developers to rest on their laurels and make sequels for those games. I want to see brand new experiences that can only be done on the new technology. As for the controller, it doesn't need wholesale changes, but two changes I would make would be to have concave triggers. So at the moment they're convex, which means they kind of arc outwards, and I think they should go inwards to suit an actual proper trigger. I don't get why they had them convexed in the first place. And the other change would be to have interchangeable analog and D-pad. So if you're like me and you prefer having the analog stick at the top, similar to the Xbox 360 controller, I prefer it up there. I'm sure other people prefer it where the D-pad is on the 360 controller, like the PlayStation does. So I think if you could switch those two around, I know certain modded controllers have done it, so I think that would be a cool option. And it would also be beneficial in, say, beat 'em up games or 2D games, where the D-pad might be better up at the top, and I know I'd switch it around depending on what kind of game I was playing, so I think that would be quite a neat little feature that they could incorporate. Although I'm sure Sony won't do this, I would love to have full backwards compatibility with every single PlayStation, although the fact that they're re-releasing all of these HD collections means that there's probably not a cat's chance in hell they're going to do this, because they can profit far too much by re-releasing old games. Same with the PlayStation Network selling old games. I think there's too much profit to be had for Sony, and I don't think they'll do full backwards compatibility, but I would love for them to at least try. at the very least, PlayStation 3 compatibility is a must. Obviously, trophies and PlayStation Network accounts should carry over, so you pick up where you left off. The trophy system is absolutely fine. The whole tiered system of going up to Platinum works really well. You could maybe have it unlock stuff in PlayStation Home. I think that would be something that they could do to further incentivize unlocking them. But all in all, trophies don't need too much tampering. This time around, Sony really need to learn from their mistakes with pricing and keep it at a reasonable price, because $599 at launch was absolutely insane, and anyone that bought it must be cuckoo. It's far too expensive for the average gamer to buy that, and it's very little wonder that they had poor sales figures to begin with. So I'd say keep it $400 or less, and also bundle a headset with it, because no one talks online on PlayStation Network, or very few people, compared to Xbox, and I feel like I'm just playing against AI when I play on PlayStation Network. Even if it's a little kid screaming down the other end, I want to hear them, just so I can mute them if nothing else. And finally, I'd say just make the launch lineup impressive, make me want to buy a PlayStation 4, because at the moment I am very much on the fence. Obviously we know nothing about Xbox 720 and PlayStation 4, so when we finally do get some details revealed, make the lineup impressive and make everyone start building up hype to this machine, because the Wii U is evidence that a lackluster launch lineup can kind of decrease the hype around the machine. So Uncharted 4 would be cool, Little Big Planet 3 would be amazing and it would really show off the technology well. Killzone 4 would be another one. Just one really killer app would suffice at launch, I think. And all in all, that is more or less everything that I would like from a PlayStation 4. Not a huge list, but I think Sony did a lot of things right last gen. Even if they started it very poorly, they redeemed themselves a lot towards the end. Oh, and keep PlayStation Network free, obviously. So tell me what you guys want. As always, your feedback's appreciated. Some of the feedback on my other wishlist videos has been very extensive, especially on the Fallout one, which I am surprised is getting so many views, but it's all appreciated. So thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and peace out, bro.